Book 101's all about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's a business owner, public speaker, and of course, an author too, and the author of the book Restored by the Storm, navigating through life's unexpected challenges. No other than Mr. Bill Derrick.
Hello, I'm here.
Welcome, Mr. Bill on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Well, business owner of a construction and land development company in the western Wisconsin Twin Cities area, and been doing that for a long time. I'm married uh, almost 45 years now to my wife, and we have four adult children and seven grandchildren that we adore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, I do wrote this book, and so now I'm kind of getting out there and promoting it, but also getting in front of people and trying to pass on the message of hope and uh, enduring the storms of life that we go through.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Bill. Thank you. So tell us, the title Restored by the Storm is powerful. It flips the script on a typical weathering a storm narrative. What does the restored mean in the context, and how can a storm, a destructive force, actually a source of renewal?
Yeah, we talked about this for a long time, the title, and I liked it because I can understand that we have storms that do destroy, and they can destroy us. But in the end, if you go through with the right attitude and the right frame of mind, work through them, you actually can be better than before the storm. So it actually renews us and restores us. Um, Things will be different. It will be a life changing experience, uh, but in the end, it will be better.
Yes, definitely would be better. What was the specific storm or personal challenges in your life that made you realize this concept? The restoration can come through not just after the hardship was book you needed to write.
Yeah. It would have been nice if I would have understood a lot of what I wrote about why I was going through it. Um, but a lot of it I understood after the storm. I talk about two storms in particular. One of them is our business storm that we went through for about 5 years during the Great Recession. Uh, like I said, we're in the construction and land development company business, and that wasn't real good during the Great Recession. And we suffered. We had a lot of debt with banks and financial institutions for the land that we owned. And we weren't making a lot of money with our construction. And it was hard to get through that. It was, it was almost to where, as the borrower, we were begging for time. And that is tough. Was not looking forward to that. But we worked hard, and like I said, one step in front of the other. We got through that, and just after we got through that, um, in 2013, I was diagnosed with a non-curable blood cancer called multiple myeloma, and I realized that the first storm I just went through helped to prepare me, my mind, my my soul, my whole being for what lie ahead, which was certainly something that was more important, life threatening type storm. And so I realized then that that was the blessing of the first storm, that I now am ready for the next storm.
You talk about restoration, Mr. Bill. Is that the same as simply getting back to normal, or is it about becoming something new? What is the difference between recovery and the restoration you describe?
Oh, that's a great question. I think when you're going through the storm, we naturally will expect that things will just get back to normal. And we spend a lot of time at first waiting for things to get back to normal. And eventually we have to realize that if it's restoration, it's going to be different though. It's not going to be restoring us to the way we were or restoring our business to the way we were, um, but it's going to be something different. And if we spend our time wishing for the good old days, they aren't going to happen again. It's going to change, and the good old days are gone. You know, Daniel, they tell you about the good old days, but unfortunately, no one ever tells us when we're in the good old days that we're in the good old days. So I always say that the good old days can still be ahead.
Hmm. On personal journey and stories, Mr. Bill, is sharing your own story. What was the most difficult chapter or personal revelation to put on the page? What are the moments you hesitate to include?
Well, when when you're to write a book like this, you have to be willing to kind of spill the beans about yourself and probably tell people, both friends and family, but also strangers, things about yourself that we really don't know about others a lot of times. So I had to be open and honest with what I was feeling, what I was going through, some of the challenges with our business. We still do. We have a family business, and family businesses are different. And I had to be willing, from my perspective, to talk about how I felt during the storm that we had, the business storm. And then, of course, going through the cancer, uh, a lot of treatment, and how I felt. And, it just very personal. And in order to write a book like this, but if you're going to inspire and give hope to others, I think being personal and open and honest, that helps those that are going through their storms, uh, to understand better what they're going through.
Looking back at your own challenging period, Mr. Bill, what was the most surprising or counterintuitive teacher or lesson the storm provided that you never would have learned in the calm weather?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a great question because I learned a lot of lessons, and I think the one lesson that I learned, um, that I like to say right off the bat is quitting is not an option.
Hmm.
And it kind of sounds like, well, of course it is. I mean, it'd be easy to say that, but when you're in the heat of the storm, guess what you feel like doing sometimes? Quitting and just giving up. And so I spent a lot of time wondering about this, and now the lesson I've learned, quitting's not an option. But how many things do we try in life that we may say we failed? Did we really fail, or did we just quit too soon? That maybe success in whatever we're working on is just around the corner, just on the other side of that wall or hurdle that we have to get through. And if we just keep going one step in front of the other, we'll get through it. The other thing that I learned about storms to go along with that is they will end. They're not endless, and they will end. The question is, will it make us better or not as we go through that.
Mr. Bill, during the lowest point of your storm, what was one thing, a belief, a person, a practice that served as an essential anchor, preventing you from being completely swept away?
Hmm.
Hmm. Yes.
Well, I had during my cancer storm, which is still going on, but now I'm in remission. But when I was going through radiation treatment, chemotherapy, and eventually a stem cell transplant in 2016, um, I had my wife Jeannie by my side all the time. And she always was there to say, "You're going to get through this." And it wasn't just this false encouragement, it was this belief that you will get through it. We prayed a lot. I started reading the Bible a lot. And between God's word and my wife's encouragement and praying for me, that really helped get me through just those very low points.
On navigating challenges, Mr. Bill, when someone is first hit by an unexpected gale, loss, or diagnosis, or crisis, and they're in a survival mode, what is the first small step toward navigating you would advise when simply enduring is hard enough?
Yeah, wow. First of all, I think that you need to almost take your eyes off yourself. Um, and I say that, I mean, you're in this storm, you get this diagnosis. But I had this attitude, whether it was the diagnosis or whether it was the next treatment or just something unpleasant, a test that was painful. Um, I always had this attitude that someone else has already gone through this before me. Somebody else has already done this. Somebody else has had to go through this trial before me. God willing, I can get through it too. And I think that's a really good attitude to have, that just take your eyes off yourself, that woe is me, why me? Why is this happening to me? You know, what is God thinking by putting me through this trial? Uh, just remember that you're not the first one to have to go through this. And I think that's a great attitude to have going into these trials.
Very well said, Mr. Bill. If your book is navigating or navigation guide, what are the top three essential tools or mindset from your toolkit that someone needs to chart a course through turmoil?
Oh, you're going to hold me to three. Wow. Let me see here.
Yes, Mr. Bill, three.
Let's start with the storm will end, because sometimes when you're going through it, you will feel like this is never going to end, but the storm will end, and it's not going to always end the way you think it's going to be, or the way it should, but it will end eventually. Another thing would be gratitude. Take these times in the storm, take the moments that you get, especially if you're going through some sort of treatment or a lot of medical stuff. You have a lot of downtime. Take those moments to realize what you have in life and be grateful. Be grateful for the people that are sending you cards and encouragement and just wanting to do whatever they can for you. Just be grateful for those times. I guess you find out you have a lot of friends during those times. Um, and last of all, there will be blessings in the storm. Uh, for each of us, it may be different, but there will be blessings. And in my case, I would tell you countless things that came my way. Um, and it wasn't accidental. I believe that firmly that God said, "Hey, I'm allowing you to go through this, but I'm also going to allow you to see some good as you go through this." And so there's blessings in the storm. Now, don't get me wrong, Daniel. I'm not happy that I got cancer, um,
Mhm.
but I'm happy with the blessings that I believe I have received, the good things I have received because of the cancer.
Mr. Bill, as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
Excuse me, Daniel, say it again.
What are your short term and long term goals, Mr. Bill, as an
Uh,
author?
Short term goals is, well, really, my short term and long term goals, quite honestly, is to um, spend the rest of my life, however long God gives me, to make a difference in the lives of others. And with this book, offering encouragement to others, with the opportunity to get in front of groups and speak about my journey and about what I learned and the lessons learned, um, I'm able to do that. Um, Long term, I want a legacy that says he gave hope to others and was encouraging to others and was always willing to reach out and help when they needed help. I think that's where I'm at in life right now. Yes, I got business goals and things like that, but I mean, success is still important, especially if you're in business. But what I've learned is God doesn't care about my success. He cares about what I do with my success. And that's where I'm at right now is doing something with the blessings and the success that has been given to me.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Bill. I'm looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people that want to be like you?
Careful what you ask for. No, I tell you, if it wasn't for the cancer diagnosis, I mean, I always said I would write a book about what the experts, business experts, never told you as far as being in business and getting through hard times. But then when I was stricken with cancer right after that, my attitude about the whole thing changed. And really, um, a book like this starts with a life changing event that you sit down and you start documenting it and you start writing it one page at a time. And pretty soon you realize that you have a book that is being developed and that people need to hear your story, not because you just want to tell people your story, but because of the lessons learned. You always write something like this to help other people.
To help other people. Yes, thank you for that advice, Mr. Bill. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
About my journey, where to
Yeah,
get my book.
book. Yes, no, a book or books that influence your journey.
Oh, that helped me during my journey.
Yes, please.
Actually, Max Lucado, a Christian author, has written a couple of books, and the last one that I really dwelled into during this time, it's called "You'll Get Through This," and basically, it's a quick read talking about don't know why this is happening, but there's a reason, and you'll get through it. And another book that I've read by Max Lucado is God Will Use This for Good. And I think that both of those elements, both of those statements, you'll find in my book.
Indeed, and thank you so much for that recommended book, Mr. Bell. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101, music 101 are in fourth season, science 101, sex 101 second season, of my baby podcast law 101, mental health 101, Bible verses 101, and coming this December, Entrepreneur 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Bill, after being restored by the storm, how is a person relationship with future periods of calm and peace different? Is there a new kind of appreciation or a lingering tension?
Now, I would say that to use a term I've heard a lot, when stuff happens now, Daniel, I don't get all wrapped around the axle over it as much.
Mm-hmm.
I still care, but it doesn't drive me it doesn't give me the anxiety that I used to have. And I think a lot of that is because I was a control freak. I mean, I liked to be in control. Had my own business, and I had my life planned out, and I was in control. And quite frankly, uh, the storm, business storm, and then my uh, journey through cancer, that helped me to realize that really the two things um, that I have control over is my attitude and my effort. And sometimes I have control over other things, but those are the two main things I always have control over. And so when stuff happens, or a relational thing with someone else, or whatever it might be, um, I don't get real upset by it. I just realize, okay, this is another journey to get through, and do it with the right attitude, put the effort in it needs to have. And I think that's what I truly believe, that's what God wanted me. I mean, I go through life now with the attitude that God has kept me alive for a reason, and it's important that I work hard to work on finding that reason, but to continue on with what he wants me to do.
Mr. Bill Derrick, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book itself?
Yes, I have a website called BillDerrick.com, and you'll find out more information about me and my journey. And you can also order my book, Restored by the Storm, wherever fine books are sold. It's available wherever you get your books.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Bill Derrick because if you support him, more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Mr. Bill, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I appreciate the time with you.
More to come, people. See you soon.